What is up, guys? Technicals Takers here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today. I'm a small business owner, medium-ish business owner, and I decided to start doing 3D printing. So I'm learning about 3D printing and just showing my process as I move through. I'm learning a lot day to day. All your comments and suggestions are very helpful. A couple days left on my big filament giveaway for hitting 2,000 subscribers. Be sure to enter via the link in the description below. So what am I working on today? Well, it's always something different, right? So over here, if you saw yesterday's video, I believe I had mentioned doing a new character model, one that's a little less, what's a good word for it? Vulgar, racy. So we've got that print going over here. This model and this modeler seems to be, they tune it up for FDM printing. Also resin printing, but over here you can clearly see it's kind of coming out a lot cleaner than some of the RHINO models. I'm very pleased with how it's coming out. My only worry is running out of filament because I thought, well, let's go start print some of the other parts on the A1 because they don't have as many colors in them. So loaded up another spool of bamboo matte desert tan. And so I went to load it up and I was looking at it like, you know, this one is getting a little low. Let's make sure that I have enough bamboo matte desert tan, and that's my last spool. I really run through that stuff with these character models. So put in an order yesterday, got 6 more spools because bamboo, if you buy 8 spools, you get it for like 12, 13 bucks per, which is actually pretty good. I mean, it's not, you know, it's good filament. Never really had a problem with it except for that yellow one back there that you saw in the beginning and the little opening thing. That thing's just been jamming up. Someone else came into the comments and saying a lot of people are having trouble with the bamboo matte yellow, lemon yellow, not winding correctly. It's kind of an issue. So I periodically have to come in here and correct it. So gonna be going a little slow on that character model. We have another from RHINO, if you saw yesterday's video as well, the Christmas girl, the one that's kind of laying on a candy cane. There's no nudity or anything like that in it. Did a test print on it because it was only, you know, it only wanted like, I think 100 grams for this test print. So I'm like, you know, what the hell, let's print it out in one solid color to see how it looks. And we can just do this live right here. We'll see if she came out. Supports seem okay. Little feetsies there. Those seem to be a big selling point. But overall, yeah, the model looks pretty good. Now there's it goes up. It's like a candy cane that she's sitting on. But I think that might actually look pretty cool in color. You know, the supports, I did it, you know, I was kind of worried about how to lay it. And so I just did it like so, where it's kind of partial. And it actually came out pretty good. So I think that's a win. It's kind of like, you know, deciding, do I go with that or do I go with, you know, actually I have, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. I actually have this other bamboo matte PLA. It's not quite desert tan. You can see that there's a difference there in color. I forget the color of this. It might be mocha or something like that. I should have enough to do this because that model, you see we got beige. You always got to remember white for her eyes. So white, black, beige, and red. I could do it in 4 colors. So maybe I'll paint this up and just do a simple one on the A1 today, just to see how it comes out because, you know, that's kind of a cool model. I don't really have that much time left before Christmas. If I could stamp that out and get it listed within, like, by the end of the weekend, maybe. I'm just not sure how long it will take to print. So maybe there's some potential there. Numbers are quiet, but I do have some ideas for those to get them back up and operating. Let's check in on the Giga. Giga's doing fine. It's really going great. Knock on wood. That's drywall down here. Giga's doing great. God, I gotta remember not to bump this thing. So like sometimes I'm leaning in here and I'll just bump this ever so slightly. Like this is the gantry, this is that everything's connected to. So do not want to bump or nudge or lean on this. You know, I can just stand on it now. Gotta be careful of that. But overall, the Giga is doing fantastic. It's getting into its overhangy part here on the bottom of his chin. And I came in and started feeling on it to make sure it wasn't too stringy or anything. And it feels just fine. Surface finish is great. I've been periodically coming in here and like, you know, squeezing at it to see, make sure the layers are together. and it really is. I mean, it's super duper solid. A little light here on the shoulder, maybe, but you know, it's nothing compared to how it once was. It's coming out great, but we still got miles to go. 42 hours, so a little under 2 days left. We're gonna put our little shower curtain back on here because that seems to be making a difference, or at least it makes a difference in my mental health. So that's going great. All right, so what else I have going on today? Well, luckily yesterday I was able to get the Devil Girl and our Angel Girl listed up on the Etsy. At least these are like slightly larger versions. These are the scratch and dents. Got them up on the Etsy, so hopefully start seeing some traffic patterns on it. I listed them both at like the $80-something mark, which is well into the profit, and it gives me plenty of room to run a sale at like 20% off and still be well into the profit, even after all the fees, all the calculation. So we'll track that. You know, I want to start high, not necessarily swing for the fences, but at least start high to give myself room to come down if necessary. Additionally, revisiting the simple idea thing. So if you saw yesterday's, I was talking about the black pink placard. I kind of went back to that and very quickly made like a little keychain. This is an Aspa keychain, popular band right now, Whiplash. Because I was looking on Etsy and it's like, you know, people make the placards and stuff like that. And like, even though keychains, like I couldn't really price this very high. If, you know, like someone's buying it for their kid, like their daughter really likes it and she has a keychain and she collects keychains or something like that, and you put it in at $10, I mean, this is virtually, you know, no money whatsoever. You do a whole plate of these for like $1. You know, sure, you'd be making like 50 cents. It's a volume play, which is something I really don't want to get into. But overall, it is pretty easy, and it's more so about me about fleshing out what works and what doesn't, if it's a name, if volume is the name of the game versus, you know, trying to make something a little more involved. I was looking at some other ideas too. People like downloading, Pal World models and making them like kind of like the character models, same size, little desk ornaments for gamers, things like that. You know, so if there's opportunity there, you know, and you're kind of getting into a gray area with like trademark or copyright or whatever, you're using like licensed images or whatever. But you know, Pal World seems a little ripe to me because they're kind of ripping off Nintendo, and if you rip them off, is it the same thing? Anyway, just an idea kind of floating around. So for the Cobras, my idea for the weekend was kind of to revisit the RHINO head. Now, if you remember the RHINO head, I wanted to do it big on the Giga, like a full copy. And then once the Giga was completely dialed in, using the parts for the RHINO head, because that model is broken into parts that are meant to be printed and then put together so you can make it bigger than what you could have printed in one single print. And so I thought if I did that on the Giga, I could literally make, based on the measurements that I've seen, an actual life-sized rhinoceros head like wall trophy. And I thought that would be quite impressive. That's at least 2 bands, I would think, to sell a life-size RHINO head. So I'm thinking maybe I try that on the Cobra in parts, keep it simple, keep it, you know, easy. Because the Cobras are kind of sitting quiet. They're not really doing anything, and I've got plenty of filament. I want to burn through my regular PLA as well and get back to the Rapid PLA Plus. And so I thought, you know, hey, maybe that's a good way to go about doing it and just kind of keep them moving, kind of another project to start working on, because I'm kind of finishing up on the guns a little bit. Speaking of the guns, yesterday I did drop the price on my T-Rex skull, my great big one, down to $1,000 because it does get a lot of traffic, several favorites. But no one's pulled the trigger on it, obviously, because it's a $1,200 T-Rex skull. So I was like, you know what? Let's just drop her down to $1,000. Maybe someone will buy it. Again, it's just me kind of just testing and going back and forth to see kind of what works. Recorded another video yesterday as well, responding to a 10 Mile Creations video. He was breaking down kind of some Etsy sellers, and I felt like I was falling into one of those categories where he was kind of talking about different types of Etsy sellers, people who are trend chasers, printing Slinky Dragons and things like that, people who are actual Etsy sellers, and then people who have no intention of actually making a 3D printing business that are just in it to make media companies, which I felt like, you know, I kind of do all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I said, well, I'm not necessarily not doing that, but I sort of am. Recorded that. I'm not sure if it's a little hot takey. I felt I was very respectful and everything like that, and just kind of offering my conjectures. Go subscribe to his channel, and I mentioned that several times throughout the video. So I'm not sure if I'm going to upload that as kind of a companion video or a supplemental. I get into several business topics throughout it, and people mentioned in the comments they like when I talk about businessy stuff from my perspective and my experience. So I kind of was working that in. So let me know in the comments below if you think I should upload that or not. I might just do it before this video goes out, because this is, what is this gonna be, Saturday's video. So maybe maybe it already came out yesterday afternoon and I've already taken the heat from it, and I'm just talking about it now from the past. This is the pitfall of banking episodes in YouTube. I get real bad about that. I start banking stuff to try to get ahead, and because I'm addicted to productivity, but may do that today. And also news on the sort of the sponsor front, very excited. UJoy Bio, if you've been a long time fan of the channel, UJoy Bio, they're a filament manufacturer that sent me a couple free spools of filament, and I featured it like, you know, a month ago. I printed several different things with it, mentioned the product, linked it, you know. It was kind of just like a initial first date, I guess. But they reached out again. They'd like to work together again, and they want to do something similar, but have me sort of make some dedicated videos for them that I don't put on this channel, that are just like marketing videos with their product. But I said, because I'm smart, I said, how about this? How about, I got this big printer, I got the Giga, take a look at this T-Rex skull. Huge, huge, impressive T-Rex skull. Now imagine, UJoy Bio, listen, imagine this giant T-Rex skull printed in your filament, silk filament. That might be hard. I might need some settings on that one. Paul, help me out here. Do the settings for me again. But I thought that was kind of a good play. Like, you know, yeah, I'd love to feature your product, but what am I going to do with 2 spools of filament? How about you send me 20 spools of filament and I print an enormous thing, and then I'll use it for content, you use it for content, and then you could say, look, UJoy Bio printed this enormous thing. Look how good it looks. And then maybe that translates into more sales for them. At least in my view, it would be a better play, because I don't see any other creators slinging UJoy Bio in their videos. But let me know what you think in the comments below, if you're a media person or just a business person, because I think that was a kind of a good idea. You know, kind of benefits both parties, and I get free filament to print another enormous T-Rex skull that I can sell for a band on Etsy. So that's what's going on today. Let me know what you're working on in the comments below, what you're up to this weekend, what you think of the content thus far and the different prints thus far. Be sure to like the video, because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe, of course, for more content like this. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.